Hi, I'm Link, and I took my time getting the new Vanguard familiars in the Persona update, getting Broken Yuhabaha, Elfelt, and Boo. So, let's get into this video. So if you're wondering what this team is, this is basically, I just threw on every character with the Vanguard familiar except for these two, because she's going to be helping out Saber, and then she's just going to be buffing the whole team. That's kind of my idea here. So, for the first character, we're going to be going for Elfelt. Now this is obviously pre-update, so I'm just going to be trying to get the unit. We get her from Act 3, if I'm correct. So we are going to be doing this, in which it has a 4% chance to drop at the end of the match a portal in which we go into and guaranteed gives us Elfelt. I do still have to get Baiken because I don't know if she'll ever get buffed. I don't know if she'll ever come on this stage. I mean, if it gives us the champion modifier, we can get Brisk, get Killer, then continue on with the Baiken quest, but that's not going to be for this video. Okay, so we got Champions modifier. So we're going to start with Freerin. We're going to be picking her journey. We're going to be having her go all the way over here to the... Oh, okay. Oh, what? I guess I'll just have her go from here to here. For now, I guess. We'll see that. And then... get Saber down. We're going to want to get Sokra down to Saber. We're going to want to get Yamamoto. We're going to be wanting to get her. We're going to be wanting to get John Smith. And we're going to want to focus on John Smith. What? Alright, well, now we're going to have to deal with the additional. We are now at the final wave, and Future Sister has spawned. I wish we could get the 29,000 to then max this unit and do his big ability. We could sell Yuta, but I think just killing these enemies will do the trick. Because I want to kill them all and then bring them towards Ichigo, so then Yuta can just instant kill them all. So let's do that. There you go. That's how you clear the match and not have to wait any longer. Then this guy not gonna die? Interesting. There you go. Elfelt. So I don't know what she does. I never played for any of the units in this update. I felt like this update was just kind of boring, but now I had to get her, which was pretty quick. That was only 2 matches and then we got the portal, but we have a new guy to get. So let's look at the Rift Shop to see. Why is this showing Kurumi? Well, we're looking for someone in specific, so I don't know if I'll need to buy a temporal rift. But if the next rift is about to be spawning, I guess we can buy one and then use that. In which this new character is going to be Yhwach, or Yuhabaha. People say it however way. And the reason we're not going for Oob, or Boo, is because I already have a Monarch. All we need to do is throw on some Godlies, and we're done with this character. I guess we can do that before I attempt to go into that portal. Now we have the final Godly for Boo. I have hope that he will be very, very strong. There's no way they're gonna do one of my favorite characters who just has so much to him. Just continuously does stuff. You can sell him, and then now he's Kid Boo, who does continuous damage. But I do think this is going to either be a very long Vanguard familiar passive, or half of it is going to be the Vanguard familiar, which goes over from, 3 of these characters. Like, it'll go over Kid Boo, Super Boo, Boo Tangs, and then the other half will go over to Skinny Boo, Boo Piccolo, and then Boo Gohan. I think that's what the Memoria may do. But Elfelt is now going to be our next character. I will favorite her because we got to work on her. So let's start with the evolving process. I need to get Monarch on her, and I will need to get Monarch on Yuhabaha. So I don't have any bullets, but I can definitely just craft these. So I'm gonna do that. Then let's use all those to split them up. And she still has the takedowns. So I will do those takedowns, get this all fixed and ready, and we'll be back. I'm back. We have gotten all her kills. It took me like 5 minutes. That was very quick. But now with her evolved, I'm going to have to do Odyssey to get all those heroes to get her to Monarch. Now, let's get her leveled up, and we're kind of practically done for now until the update releases. But next is Yuhabaha, which I will have to wait every few hours to then use a temporal rift with Zoro, and we're done. Alright, so we are here. Finally, we have gotten Monarch on our Elphelt. Now I wanted to do a quick look at her before she comes out. Now this update's gonna be, today's Friday, so we're gonna be seeing the update in 2 days from now, sadly. I do want to get a video out, but it's whatever. I can't obviously do that, but Anime Expedition is also going to be updating, I think, on the same day, so I'll probably do the Anime Vanguards update first, then go over Anime Expeditions. So let's look at Elfelt. I got her all godly, we got our Monarch, and wait, let's spawn the enemy. So her first attack, she does a quick little shot with her little pistol. Yeah. Doing 5k with Monarch. If I remember correctly, he literally did 10k on placement. Yeah, 12k on placement. So that is kind of weird. But maybe her passive change. So anytime a video game character uses meter or gauge, increase their damage by 30% for one attack. If this unit's previous attack is different from the attack it is currently performing, buff this unit's damage and range by 50% and 20% for 5 seconds. Anytime this unit consumes meter, once the current attack is finished, it follows up with the attack 1. And then in a PvP only, when she consumes meter, she does a grenade to a random enemy unit, stunning it for 10 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. So she has this tension meter. She uses this meter for her 2 abilities. But let's continue with so shotgun shot, where she uses her big gun and she does a nice cone. 17k, 29k, 41k, 46k. This is called sniper shot, where she uses the same gun and she hits a little ball and it stops when it hits them, which I think is kind of cool. 74k. Then bullet rain. Okay, he's got a little background music, 100k, and then ends off at 136k. Yeah, a lot of units kind of ended off at this kind of amount. I didn't even look at her cost. But you use this. Then it consumes some extra meter. Let me set the custom spawn to here and put a bunch of those there. And then once she gets, so once she gained meter, does she just, oh, she gains 5 meter in attack? Yeah. So yeah, you just transform them at what, 10% of their own HP? Yeah, so she gains 5 meter in attack. That's kind of not that much. They're probably going to increase that by like an extra 5 or 10%. Well, team looks good. Now, I think we should showcase Boo before he comes out. So here we have Boo. He is a 76 cost character. Very, very cheap. But he has multiple placements. This unit, I think, was a really cool unit. 15k damage, and then 33k. He does this little evil beam. Yeah, nice line. Then, Eclipse Blast plus his ability, Transforming Terror. Yeah, this flies up, and then 133k. So you can honestly tell they kind of were just trying to stick to the same amount. So he cleanses any status effects or debuffs applied to himself. Local 10-second cooldown. When this unit attacks an enemy, they turn to candy for 30 seconds. If he gets a kill on them, he gains 1 candy stack. He gains 15 range and 10 range and 15 damage on every transformation. Stacking. Selling him causes to refund the summon cap and lose his passive buffs and then transform. Attack stun enemies, gains 2 candy stacks instead of 1 per candy enemy killed. So, it looks like I'm just gonna have to enable normal waves and let me clear out the enemies. So, yeah. Let's bring them over here. Oh, yeah, transforming Kid Boo. We'll look at that soon. I have Boo. And then Alpha, I also want to look at the cost real quick. She has 100 costs. 100k costs. Alright, we have reached the 50 candy stacks, transforming into Super Boo. So this unit changes that passive. On hit increases damage by 0.1% up to 30%. So he uses an attack. He uses that big beam attack. It's a small AoE. It would be cool if that was a full AoE because it is a full AoE kind of attack. But nevertheless, let's get these 50 candy stacks. So 50 candy stacks again. That's it. Now we have Boo Tank, who this changed, yeah. Every enemy hit by this unit's attacks increases damage by 0.1% up to 30%. And now Spooky Ghost. Every 10 enemies killed by this unit summons in a basic summon for 70. Summons in a basic summon for 70% of his attack stat. So they're probably gonna change that so it's like 100% or like doubled. Which sounds fine. They're probably going to increase this unit's damage by about 3,000% if I had to guess. And now we have 50 candy stacks. So next one is Piccolo. So this buffs all Dragon Sphere units in range by 10% attack and 30% critical chance. As I don't know what they're going to do with the Gogeta familiar, but they're obviously going to bring him back during Christmas, meaning they're going to make his familiar good. So I'm excited to see how good they're really going to make him. And then Diavolo is going to hopefully come back, so I got to get his familiar. So we're at our next 50 candy stacks. Now he is Buhan, his final transformation. Egg Stomper. Cannot gain candy stacks when a candy enemy is defeated by this unit. When a candy enemy is defeated by this unit, the enemy explodes, dealing 50% of this unit's damage in a small AoE. This instance of damage cannot hit the same enemy twice. Let's sell real quick. So he does 23k. Maximum now he's doing 176k. So, Kid Boo is immune to status effects for every transformation this unit has had before being sold. Gains plus 20% damage. Anytime this unit kills an enemy, they will immediately attack again on the location where that enemy was defeated. 5-second local cooldown. This unit always targets the highest HP enemy. When attacking the highest HP enemy, that enemy receives 30% more damage. I don't know if we should go over Yhwach right now, or we could wait until I do have Yhwach. I think just doing this and getting out of the way would be nice, because then I can just get the unit, get a Monarch, and it won't matter too much. So, we have Yhwach here. He's doing 10k on placement. His passives are immune, he's immune to status effects. Plus 5 damage for every status effect avoided, up to 30%. On attack, perform a follow-up on the last enemy in range at the same time. This will only apply if the first and last enemy are different. So, this first attack, lights all happen. We need of the big little thing. Almighty Star brings a rain down of arrows. Then, going to the next one, Almighty Cage. This one, he brings all those little eyes, and they'll explode. And now he's on a full AoE. Almighty Blast. So, Ashfawn, I don't understand why this unit's the best in the game. He buffs all units in range by 15% damage and loses 30% from himself, or he can debuff all allied units in range by 20% and 10% range and gain 10% damage and 5% range per allied debuff by this ability. So, is this going to be the debuff? Okay, this is him debuffing himself. So we got all our little rares here. Now we do this. I guess if you have also your friends to then place down their units, yeah, I mean, like, you got a friend in. Like, literally all you need is level 1 players. So he's probably going to be an even better unit. I guess I'll go and get this guy. I think I'm going to, okay, so when you're seeing this, I probably already got Yuhabaha, but right now, I don't have him. So I'm going to grind for him. I'm probably going to do it off camera because it is just too much of a grind. But other than that, I'll be back to this video when we get their familiars. To continue on this video, I have now gotten enough currency to buy the Elfelt familiar. Now this is what I'm very excited for. Her familiar definitely is going to work great with these new units. I can't buy all these, but I'm going to have to continue grinding for Joker, which will be probably my next video, either before this or after this, whenever the boot trial gets fixed. So for my build for Elfelt, we have went for her Vanguard Familiar and Life Force Absorption. As since she has a meter, I think it'd be very smart to just give her back 30% of her meter whenever she uses it. We are here now. Let's max out our yen and let's place her down. So on placement, she's doing 276k with a 50% damage buff. So we already went over her passive earlier. We don't need to go over that again. So the familiar, looking for love, buffs her damage by 3000%. Frame perfect, persistent effects, bypasses this unit's animation lockouts after 1 second. Gain 100% more meter. Manually using shotgun loop opens a just frame check. Using shotgun loop again while the markers inside the window clears the check. That cast consumes no meter, deals 150% more damage, and opens the next check. Buff the damage of every video game unit on the field by 50%. And Okizeme no longer has a 5-second lockout. That is this. So anytime she consumes meter, she'll follow up. So maxed out, she's doing 9 million. And now she gains 10% every attack, which is very good. So if we would like to place down Yuki and the Persona 4 protagonist, they are getting some huge buffs here. He's doing 2 mil, he's doing 4 mil. He can actually get an additional 100% buff, but I do not have the Trenchcoat Familiar on him, sadly. I do have Harpist. Can buff allies by 40% damage, 10% range whenever he attacks. Let's try this out. So yeah, just do this. We'll consume meter. Oh, she's gained back all that meter? Let me try that again. It's just she used it, and it didn't fully consume all that meter. It's nice. Now you can do this. So that's very good. She's able to continuously attack. The 50%, so deals 150% more damage. I don't know. She definitely is very strong. Now you can just do this. Just continuously have this to go. Because she'll consume meter, but she'll instantly gain back all that meter. So you kind of do want to do that. Let's go this buff. So I guess I was doing it really wrong, but she'll do 150% more damage. I don't understand what the build-up is. They didn't really say anything about the chains and if they're, well, I mean, I guess it's like telling you whatever. But this unit seems very, very good for video game units. So she's definitely helping out the Persona team. Let's carry on. So it has been a while since I returned to since I was last at this video. And now I finally got Yuhabaha's familiar. So we came back with his team. Let's quickly max him out to his full AoE. And let's get all of his rare units in his range. Let's go over his thing. So he buffs his damage by 800%, so he's at 2 million already. He inflicts a 50% slow for 10 seconds and applies Nullify. Peroxide units are immune to his negative effects. He buffs all their damage by 80%, so he works great with Ichigo. While Ash Fallen buffs himself, every self-buff that allies get, that he debuffed, he'll apply to himself. While he debuffs himself, allies buffed by it also apply every status effect this unit would apply. There we are. So he's sitting at a crisp 4 million right now. So we can get him to, you know, debuff himself, buff Akari, whatever. We don't care about that. Wait. Oh no, here we go. So any buff Akari gains, he should gain. Is that just not working? Oh! He is. So you could probably stack a bunch of high buffing units. So I wonder if Sword Hunter, like if we grab her, use her Memoria. So yeah, he's gaining the Akari buffs, but I don't think her buffs are transferring over. I mean, he's reaching okay damage. Obviously, I'm not the best to showcase this. So, we're getting some big damage numbers with Yuhabaha. It's clear you don't want to run a team that's a bunch of placements, but you would rather want to run a team that is more focused in buffing. So, after a lot of trial and error, I do not think there's a universal for this self-buff steal. There's characters that obviously negate it. Ichigo does not seem to be one of those characters that can negate it. Hikari can't negate it. Kratos can negate it, though. With these teams, it seems as if you actually want to be running a high buffing damage team, where they buff themselves. I know someone's probably going to find a perfect team for him. We're gonna have to wait, it's gonna take time, but if I had to guess, this team's probably gonna come back as #1. So, next, I'll be moving on to Elfelt, which I'll probably be obtaining that I'll probably be getting that familiar in my previous video, in which I go over the whole entire update. So, go watch that if you haven't seen me try out the ridiculous floors. Let's move on. So this boot trial is still not out after about a week's worth of waiting, meaning I can't upload this video. They said there's another bug, and I think it is now time to just go showcase him. I wanted to show off the trial, but obviously that is not going to be able to happen. So we can go get into this showcase, and then we can end off this video. So here we are now. It is time to showcase Boo. I hope you'll be very good. I mean, we're already looking at it. 500k damage, Let's upgrade him actually, so upgrading, and his first attack now he's doing 1,000,000. Then we keep upgrading, then he's doing 2 mil, and at max he's doing 4,000,000. So he already had this on placement, so that seems pretty interesting. We already went over this, so that doesn't matter. Now, enemies turned into candy are slowed by 50%, and they take 30% more damage from Dragon Sphere allies. If a Dragon Sphere ally in this unit's range buffs a unit, apply that buff to all other Dragon Sphere units. Effects: transforming terrors unlocked on placement, and all of this unit's takedowns count toward candy stacks. This unit's summons deal 3 times damage to enemies with overshield and inflict nullify. Intelligence gained now buffs crit rate by 70%, and he buffs his damage by 3,000%. This looks very good. So obviously, you know, we're not gonna be seeing like any changes to his normal thing, but it seems as if you want to bring Dragon Sphere units onto the team. So let me grab one. So here's the first one I thought of, Broly. This unit does his crit rate buff, and look at that. Meaning all Dragon Sphere units can now gain it. And another one you obviously got to think of, Gogeta. Let me max upgrade him so he can attack and land his crits, so he can buff his own crit damage. Okay, they're gonna continuously gain crit chance. He is gaining crit damage. Oh wait, no. We need to, grab this Gogeta too. You place him, and then he decreases cost, and he decreases their cost. Okay. So anytime, once this unit lands an attack, he's going to buff fused units crit rate by 50% and gain half of their crit damage. So this unit I feel actually can work better than the other units. If we just keep kind of stacking this up, now we kind of just need this to go to the 30%. We can probably get this guy very strong. I think I'm going to keep stacking the 30%, and then once I'm back, we can look at his max damage stats. We are back. This took a while, but we have gotten to do 8,000,000 damage. Now upon selling, we'll bring him into the Kid Buu form, doing 700k on placement, maxing him out. He does 5,000,000 damage every 3.9 seconds. I think we've already looked at this, so we don't need to. What I will say is this kind of sucks that this unit does, this Vanguard Familiar gives nothing to the Kid Buu form. So he's kind of just worthless when using this unit. He has no summons, he does not apply candy, he does not buff any Dragon Sphere unit. So sadly, I think this is the weak form out of any of the forms. Now, we're finally at the end of this video. It was a while. It's been about like a week and a half of me just sitting here waiting and getting these Vanguard Familiars, and now I'm finally done. This is my fourth day making videos, and I'm very happy to be doing this. I have a few more videos planned. I have no more videos for Anime Vanguards planned. I might make a few shorts, but my next video should be covering Anime Expeditions update. I did have a recording for that, but I just haven't finished the update. Now that I finally finished Anime Vanguards, I'll continue doing that, and I'll probably be back on Monday to do all that. If you're looking at the screen right now, you'll see my most recent video. It's probably the Tifa and Jotaro video. If not, just go give it a watch. It might be you've never seen it before. Give me a like, subscribe. It helps out a lot. It helps out a lot more than you know. And I'll be seeing you guys for my next videos.